Hey family, welcome to my channel Healing for Destiny. So today I'm getting right back into this rejection series that God has me focusing on, that he has me bringing this content and these messages about the spirit of rejection, helping his people to break free from this spirit, to understand the things that God has literally done in your life, how he's had his hand over you, the ways that he has protected you, the ways that he has kept you from the snares of the enemy, from these things that has happened in your life that you didn't even understand, you didn't even realize it. All this time you've been carrying this spirit of rejection. You've just been thinking like throughout your whole life, you face this rejection, you face this, and God just wants you to know, like, he wants you to start looking at it differently. And so today, God has me focusing on in the ways in which God has hid your value. In a lot of places where you feel like you've been rejected, is really God. It was really God hiding your value, hiding his value, these good things about yourself, things that you didn't even know, things before you're coming into this healing journey, or even things that you might have known, but you truly didn't know. You truly didn't know because for a long time, I know for me, and I know for you that might be watching this video, you don't truly see yourself the way that God sees you. You don't truly see that. You don't that's why the scripture says, um that's why the scripture says, your thoughts are not my thoughts, God. Your ways are not my ways. Like, the way that God thinks about you, his thoughts about you, you don't have those thoughts. You don't even truly know how God sees you and how he thinks about you. His ways, the ways in which he has done certain things, just like I'm talking about in this video, the ways in which he has hid your value from men, from the world, from these things, the protection. You don't understand his ways, your ways, the ways, these things that has happened in your life. Those ways, you look at it from such a negative place. You look at it as rejection, when God has had certain ways about how he's done things in your life, how he's covered you, how he's, shifted your life around. You might have been going down a certain path, but God, like, literally just a quick shift to the left or a quick shift to the right, because he saw something ahead. He saw something up the road that you didn't see, that you didn't understand. And so God will then shift you. He will then move you to get on the path that he needs you to be on. He will protect you. He will guide you. He will lead you. And for a lot of us, we don't understand that. We don't understand that. We've carried so much pain. We've carried the spirit of rejection, when in reality, God was hiding your value. So to be hidden means to be concealed, out of sight, or not readily apparent. And the definition of value means something that is of high regard, the importance or worth of something. So just think about those. This is why I love definitions. This is why I love to, like, really read and get meaning, because when you look at the definition of those things, you look at the definition of value, something that is of high regard. You have value and it is of high regard. There is an importance of you. There is a worth about you. You are worthy. You are valuable. You are of high regard. And because God knows that, see, you probably didn't know that. You haven't known that your whole life. But because God knows that, he sees the value, he sees the importance, he holds you to a high regard. Even when you don't even hold your own self to that regard, God hides you to this high esteem, to this high regard. And as such, he has literally hidden your value. He has concealed it. He has concealed the true value, the true beauty, the gifts, the talents, like all these things on the inside of you. He has, like, literally hidden it. He has concealed it out of the eyes of people that aren't worthy of it. That people who, like I was saying in my last video, those counterfeits, those people that will only attach themselves to you for their own benefit, for their own advantage. He has literally hidden it. He has concealed your value, your true value, your true worth, from these people who don't deserve it, from these people who would only try to benefit from it. You have no idea. If you just really take a step back and think over your life, you truly don't understand the ways in which God has hidden your value. You really don't. From the people that have ghosted you, from the people that have abandoned you, from the people that have left you, from the people that looked past you, that looked over you, those jobs that chose other candidates over you, those places in which you wanted to fit in, those people who just walk right, like you have no idea. You have no idea though. And it was on purpose. It was on purpose. God did it on purpose. He hid your value on purpose. You've been walking around like, God, why don't these people see me? Why don't these people understand? Like, I'm this, I'm that. Why aren't they able to see this? God said he literally shut their eyes. He shut their eyes. He concealed their eyes. He put a covering over their eyes. He made it on purpose that they can't see this. He made it on purpose that they would not be able to just use you for what they want to use you for. God hid your value. He hid that important thing about you. He hid that special thing about you from the world, from the people, in these certain situations that you're going on in your life. He did it on purpose. He needed to hide it. He needed to shut the eyes in these certain situations. He needed to shut the eyes of these people so that he can shift you. He can shift you on the path. He can shift you to the destiny, shift you on the path of your destiny to get you where he's always been trying to take you. To get you where he's always been trying to take you. To get you to where he's always been trying to shift you, to that place of healing, to that place of peace, to that place of joy, the true destiny that he has for you, the true plans that he has for you. When God started really revealing these things to me, when he started just bringing up things that I've gone through in my life, like he will put it on my mind, and he will show me those areas. He will show me those times and those events where it's like, I did that. I hid it. I hid it. I hid it. It was not that you were not valuable. It was not that you weren't this, that you weren't that. It was because you were all of that. So I hid it. I hid it from these people. I hid it. I had to. And I'm gonna give some transparency what I mean by this, so you really understand this. And when you leave off of this video, I really just want you to take a second, just meditate and just think, and even ask God, show me those times, show me those areas in which you have hidden my value. Show it to me, God, so I can understand it, so I can know it. So the first one, this is my testimony. I brought videos about this before on both of my channels. But really quick, really quick. So back in 2020, right before the pandemic, I was working two jobs, right? I was working two jobs, my part-time job, my full-time job. And when the pandemic hit, I ended up losing ended up being laid off from my regular job. Now, fast forward a little bit after I still had my part-time job, right? After I lost my first job, I had found out that I was pregnant. That's when I went through my pregnancy journey. So shortly after that, I ended up leaving my part-time job because I was pregnant. It was COVID. It was a lot of people coming up with cases at my job, and I was scared, being pregnant and in the middle of COVID, I was scared. So I just wanted to like isolate myself because I didn't know like what was going to happen. And then also shortly after that, in 2020, I also received my bachelor's degree, right? Now, fast forward, I went through my pregnancy, I had my baby. Even at the time when I lost like my jobs and all this stuff was happening, I was looking at that from such a negative place. But it was such a blessing that God took me through the path that he took me through, that, what I went through during that time, I actually needed that because it gave me the time to be a stay-at-home mom, to be able to spend that time with my baby, to raise my baby, to breastfeed. I truly believe that if I was working a job, I would have not been able to breastfeed. I truly believe that. And I just thank God for certain things. I didn't understand that then, but I understand it now. Like, God truly made a way for me. So fast forward, this is when the pandemic was like kind of coming to an end, where everybody was like going back to work and everything. And so the crazy thing is I had got ahead of this. Like once it was getting closer and closer, and I knew like, okay, I spent a year home with my baby, I've been a stay-at-home mom. I use this time. Okay, all of that is fine and dandy, but it's time for me to go back to work. It's time for me to get up and start, get back into that mindset to go back to work. And y'all, you will not believe like the ways in which God will work, how he moves. So I cannot make this up. At the time when I got back up and I said, okay, let me get myself together. Let me start applying for jobs, interviewing, getting my resume back together and all of this. Now, mind you, remember I told you guys a little earlier that year when everything in 2020, when everything happened, I had just got my master's degree. So, I'm ready. I'm ready to, start my career. I'm ready to get back into the workforce. I'm ready for all of this, right? I'm ready to put my degree to use, all of this, right? Y'all, I cannot make this up. For 8 months straight, I applied and I interviewed for 8 months straight. I cannot make this up. Y'all, I have never been on so many interviews in my life. I promise you, during that 8 months, I had like maybe 20, maybe might even be more than that, like literally interviewing, and just for 8 months straight, I was job searching. For 8 months straight, I was interviewing and nothing ever came of it. And so here's the thing, right? I remember being so discouraged during that time because I'm like, God, like, what's up? What's going on, God? Like, this can't be right. This can't be life. You know what I mean? And the funny thing about it is, like, I was hearing the same thing from these managers and these people that were interviewing me. They will all be saying the same thing, like, oh, you look so good on paper, your resume is great, and you have the credentials and all of this. But for some reason, nobody was hiring me. I kept getting these denial letters. I kept getting, these emails. Oh, sorry, we chose to go another way. I'm talking about, it was even a job. This manager, he actually had hired me. He had told me that I had the job. And supposedly he was like supposed to get back to me in like 2 days or something because he had something going on. And I never heard from him again. I'm talking about, I was calling him, I'm sending him emails, like, and he just completely ghosted me. He never got back to me. He never said anything else about the job. He just disappeared. And so you can imagine, like, I was so discouraged during this time because I'm like, man, I need to get back to work. Like, what's happening? Like, God, I need this money. I need, and here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Now, see, me searching for these jobs, yes, I was discouraged, but I was never downing my value because I knew my value. I know the type of work ethic that I have. I know the type of value that I would bring to any company. So it wasn't really that part. And I knew that, like, as soon as somebody hires me, like, they have no idea. They have no idea the type of value that I'm going to bring, like, because that's who I am. That's the type of work ethic that I have. That's the type of confidence I have about myself in how I work and what I would bring. So it was never that part, right? It was never that part. And I know if these people truly knew that they would have hired me, right? And so, fast forward past that time, and in my journey and in my healing and in my relationship with God, God revealed to me over time that he hid my value. Ooh, y'all, he hid my value from the eyes of these potential employers, from these managers, from these hiring managers. He had literally hid my value because the thing was, I was ready. I was doing something on my own. I was doing what I wanted to do. I thought it was time for me to go back to work. I wanted to get back out there, but God literally shut their eyes. He shut their eyes from seeing the true value that I have and that I would have brought to these companies, because God said, no, you are not. What God showed me and where he has brought me now is that I'm not meant to be going back to work. God had to take me through that season. He had to take me through this time to show me, like, for me to understand my gifts and my talents. Me doing this, me getting on YouTube. God said, this is your purpose. This is your purpose. This is how you're going to create wealth. This is what the things that you have on the inside of you, your gifts and your talents, that's what's going to make room for you, not you. And God began to show me, like, okay, if I would have allowed you to get that for those people to hire you, for you to go back to work, you would not be focusing on the things that you are focusing on now. You would not be building your business. You would not be building your ministry. You would not have time to be showing up on video the way, you wouldn't be having time to put it to your YouTube channels. God said, this is what I need you to be doing. This is purpose. This is where, that's why I did that. See, all that time you were thinking that you were discouraged, but I hid your value. I hid your value. I hid them from seeing, because if they truly knew, if they truly saw your value, if they truly saw the value that you would bring to these companies, then yeah, all of them would be lined up to hire you. So I shut their eyes. I made them look at other candidates. I put other candidates before you, because it was not meant for them to be hiring you, because had they hired you, you would not be doing what you are doing. I would have not been able to bring you to where you are now. And also, I would not be bringing you through a season where I want you to rely on me, where I want you to understand that I am your provider. This is what God revealed to me. This is what God showed me. He showed me, no, it wasn't time for you to go back to work. That's all you'd have been focusing on. You'd have been focused. That would have been your life. Oh, work this, work that. You get home, I'm telling you to write, to work on your book, to work on a video. You wouldn't be wanting to do that because you're so tired from work, and you got other stuff that you got to do. So you will be putting all that to the side. No. So I had to block that in order to sit you down, to sit down, to start planning, to start finding what's on the inside of you, to start understanding your value, to start understanding your gifts and your talents so that it can make way for you. That stuff is not going to make a way for you, because I have something different from you. I have a different past. I have a calling on your life. You're not meant to be going to go sit in the office. You're meant to be sitting on video. You're meant to be helping others. You're meant to be impacting my kingdom. This is what God showed me. This is what God revealed to me about how he hid my value. He hid my value. He did that. He did that. He did that for me, because he had a different plan, you see? And so God will do that. He will literally hide it because of the plan, because of where he's trying to take you. I'm going to give another, I'm trying not to make this video so long. I'm going to give another testimony, when I say transparency, but let me explain something to you. This is what I want you to understand. Transparency is freedom. Being able to tell your story, especially when you've gone through it, when you've healed from it, when you've faced these things and you've come out of it, understand that your transparency, your story is freedom. It's going to help somebody else. It's going to inspire somebody else. It's going to impact somebody else. So I'm going to give this transparent story. I'm going to give it. The devil, you a lie, because you don't want me to bring it, but I'm going to bring it so somebody else can resonate and this can help somebody else. But I remember a few years ago. Now let's talk about the how God will hide your value in these relationships, these men that ain't meant for you. So it was this guy I used to deal with. Right now, I dealt with him for like some years, and I'm gonna be honest, it was a situationship. That's all it was. That's all it was ever going to be. And the thing was, I really like this guy. Here's another side note. Ladies, make sure you never like a guy more than he likes you. That's a gem. That's a gem straight from my dad. And see, the thing about that is, like, we all know that, right? Like, that's something that I don't even have to say, because we know that. But sometimes we really forget that. We let our emotions and our feelings, we let that overtake us, and we're not using logic in these situations. But you should never be given the time and energy. If you in these situations where you feel like you giving more, you feel like you like this person more than they like you, that's an instant red flag that this is not the guy for you. It will never be the guy for you. You should never have more energy for them than they have for you. You should never be liking them and putting more into it than they are doing for you. So that's a huge red flag. But anyways, back to what I'm saying. So I again, it was a situationship, but I really liked him. And so I was trying to make myself believe that it was more than what it really was. I wanted him to see me. I wanted him to see my value. I wanted him to choose me. I wanted him to, be my man. I wanted to be in this relationship with him. And I had to understand, I realized this after the fact, that it was sexual. It was just sexual, and it was never going to be that. But here's the thing. So I remember, like, when I used to be on Snapchat, I remember this season in my life, literally everything that I did, everything that I posted, I wasn't even being my genuine, true, authentic self. I was just doing stuff. I would just be posting stuff, or everything. My whole life revolved around gaining his attention, getting his attention on Snapchat. Like the things that I would post, the things that I would say, the little quotes and stuff that I would put, like trying to prove myself, trying to show my value, trying to show like that I'm this good woman and I should be chose. Like what's that they be saying in the media, like that pick me. I was being like that pick me girl, you know what I'm saying? Like I just want him to see me. I just really wanted him to see me. I just really wanted him to choose me. And so I remembered I will always do that. Like just everything, my whole life at that, in that season, at that time, just revolved around, okay, I know I got to post this because I know he going to watch it. I know I got to this because I got to do this a certain way. I got to look a certain way because he going to be watching, because he going to comment, because he going to say, like everything was just revolved around this man, this guy. And but here's the thing about that. So I did that for a long time. And what ended up happening from that? Nothing. He never chose me. He never, it didn't do anything. It was a dead end. It was a fail. Like I did all of that. I tried to prove this. I tried to show this, and it never did anything for me. It never changed the situation. And the situation would have never changed had I not taken myself out the equation. Had I not changed it. Had I not had to have that light bulb moment, like, you know what, Ash, you making a fool of yourself. You know what, Ash? And I had to check myself. I had to check myself even in that, because like, I had to check myself, because I'm like, Ash, this isn't even you. Like, you're not even this type of woman. You don't do this type of stuff. I've never been that woman that does stuff like that. So like, get a man's attention or trying to prove this. That was never me. And so I had to like check myself. Like, girl, come on. Like, you know better than this, Ash. You know you can't. I had to like really check that, and I had to be real. See, that's be the thing. Sometimes we don't want to be real with ourselves in situations like that. We don't want to be real with ourselves, but I had to be real. I had to see it for what it was. I had to pull myself up out of that. Like, you know what? I had to slap myself. Ash, no, this is not what we're doing. We are not doing this. So I had to pull myself out of that. I had to see it for what it was. And I had to like do what I had to do to cut that situation off for good. Otherwise, it would have been something that would have been a situation forever and ever and ever. And I can't allow these people to have this access to me. I can't allow myself to be going out like that. I can't allow myself to be treating myself so cheaply. Like what I was saying about value, to not understanding my high regard and my true worth and the true importance of myself, to be putting myself out there like that. I can't do that. And so, again, in my journey and God giving me the revelation of how he's hidden my value, how he saved me, that was something he brought up to me. I hid your value. You didn't even understand. Like what God showed me about this guy, this person, he said, you didn't even understand the spirits. This is what God had to show me, reveal to me. You didn't even understand the spirits that was attached to this man. While you sitting up over there trying to be boo-boo the fool and putting yourself and trying to get his attention, you don't even understand the demons and the spirits that's attached to this man. Now, imagine if I did not hide your value. First of all, he was never going to be able to see that. He was never going to see your value because he was not meant to see it. It was not meant for it to be seen by him. But on top of that, I did hide it because he's already not meant for it. If he truly, truly saw it and he truly knew it, this takes me back to what I was saying in my other video, the counterfeits, the ways in which he would have used it for his business, especially the fact that you like him more than he likes you. You don't think that he would be taking advantage of that? God said, so I did it on purpose. I purposely didn't want this man to see you. I didn't really want him to see what was on the inside of you. I didn't really want him to see this precious value about you and this worthiness about you. I didn't want him to see it. I had to hide it. You see, like God will hide us. He will conceal us from the enemy, from our enemies, from these things that don't mean us anything, that don't benefit us. I want to share this right when I was preparing this. Ooh, y'all, God is good. Right before I was preparing this video, God had gave me this revelation. This was for me, and he told me to share it with you. He gave me this revelation for myself, but he said, share it to them. Since you're doing this video, I want you to give it to them. And I'm actually going to read it. I was going to freestyle this, but God said, nope, I want you to read it exactly how God gave it to me. I wrote it down, and I want to read this to you and share this with you. And this is what I'm going to leave you guys with. This is what God is telling you right now about how he's hiding your value, what he wants you to understand about the ways in which he has hid your value. So now that I'm at a place that I understand why God has done what he has done, especially in this subject of hiding my value, listen to this. This is what God is saying to you. He hid your value because you didn't even understand the value that you have. Come on, y'all. You didn't even understand the value. So how could you be trying to get someone or other people to see it, to understand it, when you haven't even truly understood it yourself? He hid the value because the purpose in him hiding it was for you to find it. It was hidden so that you may find it. So you live this life. You live this life like feeling like, man, people don't see me. People don't see me the way I want them to see me. People don't see people don't see this value about myself. God said, you truly don't even see it. You truly haven't seen it. You truly haven't found it. So I've hidden it even from you. I've concealed it from you because I want you to go through this process. I want you to go through this journey so that you can begin to find it, so that you can begin to start picking the layers apart and start getting to the bottom and start truly understanding, going through this process, going through this journey, understanding this true value, understanding the beauty, understanding what's on the inside of you. I hid it from you so that you can begin to find it, so that you can begin to search for it. And so, see, it's deeper. It's much deeper. It's much deeper than we be thinking all this stuff is. It's deeper. It's stuff underneath the surface that God is trying to reveal to us. This is what God is saying. He hid it even from you. He wants you to find it. Well, stop worrying about other people seeing it. Stop worrying about how other people are determining your own value. God said it's time to find your own value. It's time for you to see the value. It's time for you to know who you are. It's time for you to find the value. It's time for you to regard your value as high. It's time for you to regard your value as important. I love you guys. Y'all get excited about this type of stuff because when I tell y'all this healing, like the things that he is doing in my life, the things that he is showing me, the things that he is using me to bring to his people, like, I just thank God. And I hope that this video helps you. I hope that you got something from this. This is directly from God. This is how he has helped me. And this is how he is using me to help his people. So I love you guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know. Let me know how you think about what you think about this message, how it resonated with you, if it helped you, if you got something from it. Comment. Let me know. I love you guys. I will see you in the next video.